Are you waiting for me?
Nope.
Okay. Oh, we're live.
Hey guys, welcome back to another Facebook Live broadcast. My name is Sarah King. I am a Parkinson's physical therapist and founder of Invigorate Physical Therapy and Wellness here in Austin, Texas. And today I am so excited to bring you a wonderful woman. You guys know that part of my mission here with Invigorate is to empower you with stories of powerful, positive, and encouraging Parkinson's role models who are living a life full of vitality and energy despite their diagnosis. And so today I'm ecstatic to bring on a special guest who I believe is one of those types of role models. Omotola Thomas is a wife, a mother, and a passionate Parkinson's advocate who was diagnosed in 2016 at the age of 35 after about 5 years of symptoms. And she's also the founder of a movement called ParkinStand and publicly documents her Parkinson's journey on social media. There's her ParkinStand shirt right there. Her goal is to, she's going to tell us a little bit more about here in a little bit, is to balance the act of being as real as she can about her challenges while also showing that she's very optimistic about her Parkinson's future. And to be honest, this is what drew me to Omotola. I follow her and I really can say that she's a true inspiration. And the reason we came to know each other was through our online Parkinson's booster program that I host through Invigorate. She's a booster graduate and I got to watch some of her progress going through the program. And I was just immediately attracted to her energy and her bright light, which she is going to share with you today. And she is across the pond. It's about 10:30 her time. So thank you for staying up late with me. I really appreciate it. Yes. So as you guys tune in and you start watching, just say hello in the comment section below. If you know Omotola, say hi so she knows that you're watching. And if we mention any resources during this broadcast, you can go to the Invigorate blog to find all the links to her website, to all her social media, to her video series, to everything. You can find it on invigoratept.com/Omotola, which is Omotola. So welcome to Facebook Live. I know this is one of your very first, Omotola, so welcome.
Thank you, Sarah. Thank you so much for having me. I'm really, really excited to be here. Before we go ahead, I just wanted to touch on one or two things. First of all, if my eyes dart down like this, it's because I'm looking down to my iPad to read the comments. So just FYI, that's one. And then secondly, well, two more things. One of the symptoms that I suffer from with Parkinson's is hypomimia, and it causes my facial muscles to freeze sometimes. So sometimes I look like I'm really mad, but I promise I'm not upset with Sarah. I'm very happy to be here. So just keep that in mind as we go along. And then the last thing is I may jumble up my words as we go along as well. But if I do, if I freeze and I say, let's move on to the next question, I'll probably come back to it because I can't remember what I need to say at that time.
Okay. Yeah, no pressure. And this is very casual. And as everybody that watches knows, I am pretty casual most of the time. And that, this is live video. This is not pre-recorded. This is us right now. So you get real life. Yeah, congratulations. First of many, I hope, because you are wonderful on camera. So if you're watching, just forgive both of our blunders, and hopefully you can have some humor with us as we go through some of this new technology and just have a good time. So yeah, if you are watching, just hit like on this video, share it, comment. We would love to hear from you guys. So we have so much to cover with Omotola, and something that I know our community loves to hear about other people who are going through a similar diagnosis of Parkinson's is Omotola. They love to hear what you're doing. So I know you were diagnosed at age 35, which may be a little bit different than some of our viewers, but I know a lot of other people with young onset Parkinson's are also watching. So maybe you could walk us through, at Invigorate, we call it your Parkinson's plan of attack, kind of what you're doing that's best for you that you've seen to combat your symptoms of Parkinson's. So could you give us maybe a rundown of what that looks like for you?
Yes, my plan of attack is threefold or three-pronged. I call it the FED plan. It's faith, exercise, and diet. I am very open about the fact that I'm a Christian. I believe in God. And, I read my Bible a lot, and it teaches me that healing is available to me. So I have that faith, and I believe that, and that gives me hope. However, I also believe that, and actually I think the Bible also does say that faith without works is dead. So it's not just about having faith alone. I have to be able to do something to back that up as well. So that goes into the exercise portion of it. I've been doing a lot of research recently. Prior to this year, I was exercising randomly. I just knew that exercise was good for me. So I would just exercise. I would run, I would walk, I would do yoga, do Pilates, I'd do anything, really, any type of exercise. But I've been reading recently a lot about the benefits of aerobic exercise, in particular swift walking. There are a couple of people that I have followed their journey. John Pepper is one of them. He's an 80-plus-year-old South African man who's reversed most of his Parkinson's symptoms. Dr. Chris Hagaseth, I don't know if I mentioned his name, pronounced his name properly. He's a doctor also in the US who also advocates for mindful, swift walking. So I started doing that about 2 weeks. Well, about 2 weeks ago, I started running, but just recently I decided to change that to swift walking. I do a lot of yoga, calms me down a lot. It helps me connect with my body, my mind. And then the last aspect would be diet, which is the trickiest part for me.
Not just for you, for a lot of people, it's real tricky.
It's very tricky for me. Before I go into diet, I went through your booster program, which I love and I highly recommend for anyone who has Parkinson's disease. I can guarantee that if you follow the program as Sarah puts it, as she directs you to, you will definitely see improvement. In the first week alone, I noticed improvement in my flexibility, and I think I posted a picture on the booster page of some things I couldn't do before that I was able to do just after 1 week on the program. And then I think the other one that I benefited greatly from was the coordination exercises as well. One of my issues is, not balance, just coordinating my movement. And some of the exercises in your program really helps with that. Going to diet, I also took your gut series, your 8-week program. I think I'm on my second or third attempt.
It's a lot. Yeah, it's a lot.
But based on that program, which I think is currently free and available on YouTube, right?
Yeah.
So based on that program, I've learned a lot. A few things that I'm doing right now is I'm taking can I talk about that, or is that proprietary?
Yeah, absolutely. Go ahead. Yeah, this is not paid either. She's not endorsing this because I asked her to, guys.
We didn't even talk about this beforehand. So a couple of things that I do regularly and that I think I've been able to be successful at is taking the coconut oil, taking the vitamin supplements, taking the probiotic, which has really helped me. I find it really amazing. Prior to taking that program, most people with Parkinson suffer from constipation, and I've suffered from that literally all my life. So I went to see a doctor before taking the program and told them about my issue, and then they just prescribed me some medication. And I don't really like taking medicine if I don't have to, so I really didn't take it. But then when I got on your program, and you talked about probiotics and the effect it has on our gut and on our digestive system. I started taking it, and within 2 weeks, it disappeared. And what confuses me is, why don't doctors just recommend probiotics for people as opposed to giving them medication? I find that really confusing, to be honest. But I do take the probiotics. I take coconut oil, I take turmeric, supplement, all things that you recommended. And this is what I wanted to say. The first time I took the program, you had already had the entire 8-week series, the 4 videos out on YouTube. And even though you recommended that we do it one step at a time, we should take it, do the first part and then wait 2 weeks. I can be really stubborn and hard-headed sometimes. I can do this. This is easy. So I watched all 4 videos in 2 days, and I started everything.
That's a lot.
It is a lot. And I started everything. And in 3 weeks, I cut out all the foods you said we should cut out. I took all the supplements. And I really, honestly felt the best I'd ever felt in my Parkinson's journey. A lot of the brain fog that I usually experience disappeared. All of the bloating that I experienced disappeared. And everything was going great until I hit a roadblock. And then I just crashed. I think I took on way too much, way too quickly. So I'm going back, retracing my steps and taking it in little chunks. But the point that I was trying to make is that it does work. Like dietary changes, it does have an impact on your Parkinson's.
100%. Well, yeah, you asked, why don't doctors just kind of make that recommendation right out the gate? And there's a cynical way to look at it, and then there's kind of a more gentle way to look at it, which is, doctors are trained in what they're trained in, which is a majority of medicine and, kind of more Western medicine, surgery and medication and that type of stuff. So we kind of forget about nutrition. And so, the things that you talk about, exercise and nutrition and just kind of getting things back in line, those aren't things that are specific to Parkinson's even. Those are any chronic disease, right? Or any just person. We function better when we drink water and eat vegetables and move around a little bit. So I'm really happy that those things were benefiting for you guys. And I won't dig all the way into the booster program or the gut health program. If you guys are interested in those programs and you're watching, the booster program is at www.invigoratept.com/booster. And the nutrition course is at invigoratept.com/gut health. So if you're watching this live, Lauren will share those links down below. If you're watching on replay, you'll find those links somewhere around this video. So thank you, Omotola, for sharing that. I know we didn't talk about that before, but I know you've seen a lot of success. And one thing, your fed approach, I love that, is I don't know if exercise and diet are as effective with someone who doesn't have such motivation to continue.
Exactly.
Right?
Exactly.
Those are tools that are best implemented, or that only are effective when you implement them. So
and you have to also believe that they're going to work, that they can work for you.
Yes. And so, this is something that I noticed came out in your video series, which if you guys haven't watched Omotola's video series, she just put them out at the time of this recording about a week ago. It's on her YouTube channel. And you can find it at ParkinStand.com on her website, but it's a 4-part series right now. And it outlines just her journey through Parkinson's. And something that you'll notice that is very wonderful about Omotola is that she has this faith and this hope, and this mindset that really shines through. And our community, there's a lot of kind of ups and downs with this journey. And I see both sides of it. I see people who are really excited about the progress they make, and then who hit a roadblock and kind of come back down. And so you acknowledge that your journey has been that way. But your faith and your hope are always, seems like to me, always present. So can you share a little bit more about what where that comes from and how you maintain that, because I think that that's such a beautiful thing. And it's almost like it's a skill too, that you have to develop. It's a tool that you've developed over time.
I'll tell you first why I put the videos together, the Livin La Vida Dopa. I started Livin La Vida Dopa. I don't even think I've mentioned this to you yet. The 4-part stories that I put together was just the initial part of the series. It was just an introduction to the world, saying, hey, here's who I am, and here's my story, my journey, and here's where I'm trying to head towards. What I plan on using Livin La Vida Dopa to do is to be a visual platform to showcase my struggles, my everyday struggles with Parkinson's disease, and how I try to circumvent those challenges or how I try to overcome them. And I hope to use that as an inspirational tool for people. Now, I put the stories together for a couple reasons. Number one, I wanted to continue to raise awareness for PD. I'm a big advocate for raising awareness. It's very important to me. I knew nothing about Parkinson's disease prior to my diagnosis. And I feel like if I had had more information, even before I got diagnosed, I could have started taking all the steps that I'm taking now years ago. I mean, this journey started in 2011, and I could have been much further along on the journey than I am now. I also put it out there to show people that, look, a diagnosis like this really sucks, but it doesn't have to be a death sentence. It doesn't have to be the end of the world. It doesn't have to be the road down to depression. You can, I mean, because I have real struggles. I'm speaking now, my hands are shaking. It's distracting and uncomfortable. And that's just one of the things that I struggle with. But the point I was trying to make, the point I was trying to make is that, you know, life can be difficult, but still fulfilling and full of vitality at the same time. And then the third reason I put it out was, you know, some people may call me delusional, but I honestly believe that I am going to get better. Like, I don't believe that this is how my journey with PD is going to end. I've seen so many stories of people like Dr. Terry Walls, Bob Cafaro, John Pepper, who I mentioned, Colin Potter, who you interviewed, Dr. Chris Hagaset, of people who are taking active steps, who have taken active steps and have been able to overcome many of their challenges. Now, you know, many of these people, I mean, like Colin Potter does not claim, neither does John Pepper, not to have PD. They still have these illnesses, but they're thriving and they're living well with it. So I put the video together to record and document where I am right now, you know, to show people that, yeah, I actually, because I'm so optimistic that I will not be this way, I wanted to put it as proof that, look, I really did have these struggles and these challenges. So it was important for me to document. And for me, that is the start of my journey onto healing or feeling better or whatever comes next from this phase. My faith, which was the first question you asked me, my faith has gotten me through an unbelievable amount of heartache and pain and struggles and trials. I think, I don't know how to explain it, you know, like you would have to, I guess, be a part, I don't know how to really put it. I just know that it has been an integral part of my life from the time I was very young. I've always relied on God. And it's just something, it's just a part of me.
Yeah. And I know that there are people from all walks of life that are watching, from all different backgrounds and faiths and spiritualities. And I think that what I've seen over time is that the people who believe that they are supported and loved, and that their journey is full of lessons, loving lessons, and instead of feeling like they've been punished in some way.
Right. Perspective.
Perspective, yeah. And so what I hope, you know, Invigorate and sharing your story and hearing that is, just helping our community feel like there's a place where they feel supported and loved, and whether that's through a higher power, whether that's through, just an ongoing supportive network. I think that is really important. And so I know that that's what you try, and then, you feel that, and then you try and reflect that into your community, where you say, listen, don't give up. I'm cheering for you. Let's take a ParkinStand together. And it creates this kind of community and this love. And I feel like that's really, really uplifting. So you feel it, and then you just radiate it out, which I so much adore about you. So you're welcome. You're welcome. So something too that in your video series, and if you're commenting, I promise we'll take a look at your comments here in a second. I have
Mom. I saw my mom on there. I just needed to say hello.
Oh, say hi, Mom. Yeah, say hi, Mom. I bet my mom's watching too. Let's take a moment to say hi to our moms. Hi, Mom.
Hi, Mom.
See, love and supportive network right there. Yeah, so I promise we'll say hi to the people in the comments. We just have a hard time keeping track of everybody at the moment, but we'll get there, I promise. This other thing that I wanted to highlight about your video series that I feel like will ring true to a lot of people watching is you talk a lot about drops in the ocean, and that some of your challenges, you feel like if they were isolated by themselves, being able to fold laundry, or, braid your daughter's hair, or write your name. If they were in isolation, they would be a lot easier to tackle. But it seems like throughout the day, you have these drops into a larger ocean, and that can feel a little overwhelming. So in the day-to-day, how do you get through those moments of challenge? How do you keep yourself from, and maybe you don't, I know you don't always, I know no one ever keeps themselves in this positive, sphere all the time, but do you have anything that you do or you say to yourself? Is it prayer? Is it, what is it that helps you stay steady in those moments where you feel like there's just an ocean of challenge?
I have been blessed with an amazing support system. I know that people say that I'm inspirational, and I appreciate it, but sometimes I wonder if I did not have the family, my husband, my children, my mom, my dad, my siblings. My mom is here with me right now. She's upstairs. She travels from Nigeria regularly to come and help me around with cooking and cleaning and the children and all that stuff. So that really helps me put things in perspective. One of the major challenges that I have is, and I don't even know if I want to talk about this publicly, but I will, is taking a bath. Holding a sponge is difficult for me. So I either have to choose between using a glove sponge, which is difficult to wear on my hands, or holding the foam sponge, which is difficult to use. And that's something that I have to do at least once a day. So that's something that's in my face every day. But I remind myself, I think for me, I always believe that everything happens for a reason. I believe that I'm in this position. I don't think like God gave me this illness. I'm not going to go that far, but I have it. And I feel like one of the key things that I say is that I find that there's always opportunity in adversity, and there's opportunity in pain. There's opportunity to motivate other people. There's opportunity to encourage other people. And that is what actually drives me in saying, okay, you're frustrated right now. I get it, but if you can find a way to overcome this challenge, if you can find a way to get out of this issue that you're having, then you can be a blessing unto others. You can be a light unto others, and then your pain, for lack of a better term, is not wasted. So that's the mindset that I have most of the time. And trust me, you can ask my husband. I have times where I break down and I'm a hot mess.
Yeah.
And okay. I'm not so inspirational.
Same here. My husband has seen many a hot mess moment. Yeah.
So I do have those moments, but that's where the support system that I talked about kicks in, and they come and then they encourage me. So that is a blessing that I don't have any control over. It's just something that I was blessed with.
Well, there's a quote that I really like that someone shared with me, which is your vibe attracts your tribe. So you have been blessed with them, but you also attracted them to you. So
Thank you.
you're welcome. So, okay, that's wonderful. So I want to transition a little bit to your advocacy. Um, you are a big advocate for exercise and taking a
Yeah.
ParkinStand essentially
Yes.
for anyone with a chronic disease. But you especially feel called to speak to people diagnosed with Parkinson's who are in the Black or particularly African community. So,
Correct.
can you share a little bit about how that came to be and why it's so important to you?
Absolutely. When I got diagnosed with Parkinson's disease, I talk about this, every time in any article or any opportunity that I get. I didn't, oh, sorry, what I was going to say was my doctors initially told me that the chances of my issue being Parkinson's were very slim because of my race, my gender, and my age. So I kept going for tests, not knowing what it was. The point I'm trying to make is that there are not that many young Black females out there. I actually have not met one single young Black female with Parkinson's disease. Since I started my outreach on Instagram a little over a year ago, I've met Caucasian, male and female, young and old. I think I've met one or two Black males, or at least I know of one or two Black males with Parkinson's. Definitely not any Black female with Parkinson's. And I was left wondering, like, am I the only one? I mean, it's not possible. It's not
No.
possible that I'm the only
Right.
Black female. And like I mentioned in my Where Are You article, there are some unique challenges that Parkinson's disease presents to people of African descent, particularly African women. Um, and because I couldn't find anybody, I didn't, it was hard for me to, like, I can speak to you about like rigidity and tremors, and you'll understand that. But you won't understand what it means for me not to be able to braid my daughter's hair. This is something that that I used to do for and with her from the time she was a little girl. And I took a lot of pride in it. And, it was a bonding moment and experience for the two of us. I didn't find anyone that I could relate that experience with. I didn't find anyone that could understand or empathize properly. So I made it I set out on a mission to start looking for Black people with Parkinson's. And I have to be careful because I'm not trying to make it a race issue at all. But, there are some issues that are common to a certain subset of people. And that was one reason. There were three reasons. Another reason was I was born and raised in Nigeria. I lived there for 20 years before moving to the United States to get my college degree. So I'm very much Nigerian. And I had to wonder if my current mindset was as a result of the environment that I was in, i.e. the West. I lived in the US for, 13, 14 years, then moved to South Africa, and now I'm in England. So I've spent the majority of my life in the Western part of the world. So I have to ask myself and be honest, if I lived in Nigeria and I did not have access to resources like I do, I didn't have access to people at the World Parkinson's Coalition, I didn't have access to you, I didn't have access to my friend Carl, who has been, who has helped me with so many resources as well. Parkinson's UK here, they have Parkinson's nurses, they have support groups, they have dance classes, they have all these things. if I didn't have all those things, would I be the same person that I am today? And I honestly cannot answer that question. I don't know the answer to the question. Maybe I would, maybe I wouldn't, but it's not something that I can say for certain. So that tugged at my heart a bit, and because I knew that there is a void in Nigeria and probably the rest of most of Africa, for a Parkinson's outfit like National Parkinson's Foundation or Parkinson's UK here. So that has been a burden on my mind and something that I hope to change. And then the third reason was I was in New York last summer with Carl. We happened to be in New York at the same time. And so he offered to take me to meet the people at the World Parkinson Coalition. So I went there. Coincidentally, the day before that, I think it was a few days before that, they had just released their list of 16 ambassadors for their Congress next year in Japan. And I looked at that list and I saw people from Australia, from England, from America. I didn't see anybody from anywhere close to Africa on that list. And it bothered me a little bit because I did not think that list was representative of the entire Parkinson's community. So when I went there that day, I asked them about it. And, Eli Pollard and Kathleen Jordan are wonderful people. They're very receptive, very welcoming. And Eli said something very interesting to me. She said, she agrees with me, but they picked the ambassadors from a pool of applicants. So if people of color did not apply, then there's no way they could have picked people of where are they going to find them from? So it got me thinking, okay, it looks like the Black community themselves are not lending their voices to the whole Parkinson's issue. And that's something that I hope to correct.
I just got goosebumps actually. For whatever reason, I envisioned you on the stage at the World Parkinson Congress, which if you're watching, the World Parkinson Congress is easily it's the best Parkinson's Congress out there, I think. It unites everyone across the world diagnosed with Parkinson's and experts and healthcare providers. It's awesome. I went a few years ago and I'm going next year in 2019.
I hope to go as well.
We'll have to have some sake. Well, do you drink on public live Facebook? We can share a sake or a tea. We can share something.
I do. I'm not sure if I'm supposed to with PD, but I
love how you resisted. You kind of delayed answering that question. Well, we can share a tea. We can share green tea. But I just had this vision of you. Yeah, green tea. Of you on stage at the World Parkinson Congress. And this is the beauty of the internet, which is people watching, you can spread your message. And if you're watching and you know of a person, a community, a group in the Black community that needs support, needs a voice, needs to unite with someone who has a voice, please connect them with Omotola or myself because I do think that representation is important and you cannot be the only person out there who is, struggling to braid your daughter's hair. And I envision you standing, I know there are a lot of other things that you, standing on a stage and just looking out and having a whole talk about this, specific challenges to your community. And it's like, I think that that's something that's really inspirational. So I just hope that you can take this first Facebook Live and run with it and do many Facebook Lives, many videos, and just get your story out there. So speaking of your story, you're so welcome. You're so welcome.
The nerves are working their way out now. I'm raising my hand. I'm doing stuff.
Yeah, I know. Me too. Well, you're doing awesome. So tell us about ParkinStand. Speaking of your shirt, tell us a little bit about ParkinStand. What's it stand for? Why did you found it? What's going on with ParkinStand?
Okay, so this goes back to the day I got diagnosed. I remember I was in the car on my way back to my hotel. I had traveled from South Africa to England for the diagnosis, and I came alone because my husband had to stay back with the kids. So I was alone and I was riding back. And I just remember feeling mostly calm. And it was weird because this was a diagnosis that I had dreaded and, I had suspected, but I didn't want. And then I finally got it and I was like, okay, I guess I have to step into action of some sort right now. So the idea of ParkinStand was born that day in that Uber driver's car, born out of me knowing that I was not going to let Parkinson's disease ruin my life. I was not going to let it, dim my light. I was not going to let it, continue to make me hide in a shell, because prior to that, because of my tremors, I was so embarrassed by my tremors, because, people would look at me and ask me, are you cold? But it's hot. How can you be cold and shaking? And I'm generally an introverted person. So having to live my illness publicly was a very difficult thing for me. When somebody has an illness like cancer or diabetes, it's private. You don't necessarily know about it, but Parkinson's symptoms present themselves publicly. So it was very difficult for me. So prior to my diagnosis, I had lived a life of I don't want to use the word shame, but it was somewhere along that line. I was embarrassed about my condition. And on that day, when I finally got a name, I felt like, and I wrote this in my first blog on my website, I had a target. I had something to aim and to shoot at. Prior to that, I had tremors, rigidity, stiffness, loss of sense of smell. Like I was going crazy. There were so many different things that were quote unquote wrong with me. But on that day, June 17, 2016, I finally had a name. I had something that I could say, okay, you are my problem. You are my issue. And I'm going to do something about you. And that was when the idea of ParkinStand was born. I didn't have a name for it then. But I knew that I needed to do something. And then a few months after that, I like doing headstands. I don't know why.
If you follow Omotola on social media, she likes to be upside down pretty often.
It's funny. I think it's because my world was turned upside down with Parkinson's disease. So when I go upside down, it feels right side up. I don't know. But so I was thinking about doing a headstand that day. And I don't think I've shared this with anybody, actually. I was thinking about doing a headstand that day, and I don't remember, maybe my hands were shaking. Something reminded me of Parkinson's disease. So I was like, Parkinson's headstand. Parkinson's headstand. And it just clicked. I was like, oh, I can call my movement or whatever ParkinStand. So that's how the name came to be. But I define a ParkinStand. The short definition is anything that empowers you, any move or action that empowers you. The long definition, which is really very personal to me, and going back to the headstand, is any action that is done in defiance of the limitations imposed upon you by a debilitating illness such as Parkinson's disease. And I say that because I have coordination issues standing on my feet. I should not be able to stand on my head, So if I can't balance properly on my 2 feet. So that's an example of a ParkinStand. I have coordination issues. Those are my limitations, but I'm trying to push past them by doing things that I really shouldn't be able to do. I try to do back bends. I also have flexibility issues. That's another ParkinStand for me, because rigidity and stiffness kick into place, but I'm like, you're not going to limit me. One thing I live by is that I will fight Parkinson's and overcome it, or I will die trying. That is my motto for life. Another ParkinStand, honestly, is doing this interview. Like when I speak to people sometimes in person, I forget my words, but that's one-on-one. And, usually I'm not in front of, I don't know how many people are watching. Well, there are 41 people, 42 people live right now. So I was extremely nervous. And this morning I thought about 300 different ways to cancel this. That's how anxious I got about it. I knew I wasn't going to, but I experienced a lot of anxiety. And anxiety and depression is another symptom of Parkinson's, which, if given the opportunity, I'll talk about that as well. But me coming on here really and doing this is a ParkinStand because I'm afraid I'm going to forget my words. I'm afraid I'm going to mix up my words. I'm afraid I'm going to blank out. I'm afraid I'm going to freeze. I'm afraid that you guys will see that my hands are shaking and it's embarrassing to me. But I'm doing it. I'm here. I'm defying the odds and defying the limitations. And I'm saying, in spite of all of that, I'm still going to get up here and do what I need to do. Parkinson's isn't going to stop me. That's
oh my gosh. I have goosebumps all over my body right now. That's awesome. Yeah. So ParkinStand, this is a ParkinStand in of itself. And I think about so many people who are in our booster tribe, in our paid program, but also who just reach out every day and say, I never thought I'd be able to XYZ, but I did it,
Right.
So,
exactly.
Yes. And that's a ParkinStand. And so it doesn't even have to be physical is what you're saying. It can be doing an interview. It can be just anything that you maybe have thought that you couldn't do or someone told you couldn't do because of your diagnosis.
It could be forgiving somebody for something, for an old, letting go of your past hurts and just moving on, not allowing yourself to be limited by those types of things. It really doesn't have to be a physical activity. It's just an action or a mindset or anything that is done that is empowering to you.
Yeah. So for the people watching, which we're going to check in the comments right now, but before we do that, if people are watching and they are inspired to do their own ParkinStand, how do you want them to share it with you or with the world? How do they do that?
Well, I would love for it if you're either you're on Facebook if you're watching this, so you can you can post any ParkinStand that you want on Facebook, and what do you call it? It's happening now. Tag
it. Okay, yeah.
So that's an example. It just literally happened. I forgot the word tag, and then tag ParkinStand, or put the hashtag ParkinStand. Facebook or Instagram. You can go on you can send me an email as well if you want, if it's not something that like is in a picture format or something, because if it's an action or if it's like forgiving somebody, like I mentioned earlier, there's no picture to show that. You can send me an email at omotola.thomas@ParkinStand.com, and I'm sure you guys will put the links for my email and contact and all that fun stuff.
We will. Yep. It's on the blog too. And if you, another way to do it, if you're inside our free Facebook community, the Invigorated community, Omotola is in there too. You could post it in the group. If you don't want to do it publicly for the whole world to see, you can share it in our private group and share it with her in there. So that's wonderful. ParkinStand, and I think that's a beautiful movement. It's definitely in line with Invigorate's mission, empowering people. And so, oh my goodness, we have so many comments. This is wonderful. You guys are checking in. Andy McDowell says Omotola rock.
Oh, hi Andy. Hi Ben. Hi guys. Thank you.
Yes.
So glad they tuned in.
I'm scrolling through here. Roy Alfonso wants to know, he says, God bless you, Omotola. You're an inspiration. Did you play sports as a kid?
Yes. In Nigeria, we didn't really have, we played soccer outside and we ran. So I used to run in school, in high school, well, in what the equivalent of high school is here. That was about it.
Okay. So it's not like she comes from some crazy athletic background that allows her to do handstands. She just literally did it because she wanted to do it. So,
and I've fallen a few times, but It's fun.
That's part of handstanding, I think. I love handstands too. We're like twin souls on that.
I saw that.
I love handstands. Mammy wants to know, can we get the shirts? Can people order a shirt, a ParkinStand shirt if they want?
Yes and yes. The short answer is yes. I do have. I ordered. Yes, I have T-shirts. Yes.
Are they on your website?
No, but I
Okay.
can sort that out.
We can figure that out. Okay,
Yeah.
Mammy, we'll figure that out at some point. Let's see. Helen
What's the
says,
person who asked?
what's that?
What's the person who asked about the T-shirts?
Her name's Mammy,
Okay, send me an
Mamie.
email and I'll send her one.
Okay, Mammy, send Omotola an email, which we'll make sure to have that linked in the blog post, how to get a hold of her. We'll say that right now. Okay. Let's see. I'm going to scroll through here. Yvette says, thank you. So inspiring to hear your story.
Thank you.
Yes. Ben wants us to come to Canada. So, Ben, I'm having a hard time with your name. Chiapetta? That's an amazing
He's one of my biggest supporters on Instagram. Hi, Ben. Thank you.
Oh, yay. Isn't this wonderful how we bring it all together? Let's see. Oh, well, we can talk about that later. Nancy says, if you stumble, make it part of the dance. And I know, do you want to talk about dancing at all, or do you want to save that for our next Facebook Live?
I think we'll save it as our next Facebook Live. And the reason is this, I put it's one of my goals and something that I cannot do at all right now. So I'm in the process of recording a video of how ridiculous I look when I dance. And then I'm going to keep trying. And then in a few weeks, record another video and then compare the two. So let's talk about dance. But no, I cannot dance to save my life.
Okay, we'll see the before and after. I'm sure that you can dance. Okay. Mickey Newell says, I'm relating to everything you feel. I don't know anyone with Parkinson's in my area. The invigorated community are my peeps. That's so sweet. I wish I could read all of every comment. I'm scrolling through here to see if there are any other questions. I know someone asked if you actually do take any medications.
Okay. I think I saw that too. No, I do not. And I'll tell you, I think I have taken medication twice now. The first time was in 2015 when they were still trying to figure out if I would respond to it and thereby using that as a diagnosis tool for Parkinson's. So they put me on Cinemet it was supposed to be for a month. I went on it for 2 weeks and then my hand started going crazy like this. And I already didn't want to take the medication before. And then once my hand started having a life of their own, I called my neurologist and I said, I'm not doing this. Like, I have no interest in this. And he wasn't too happy with it, but I weaned myself off the Cinemet, but I only took it for about 2 weeks. When I eventually got diagnosed a year and a half later, my new doctor in England he gave me a list of options. One of them was Cinemet Levodopa, and another one was Azilect. Have you heard of that, Sarah?
Mm-hmm.
It doesn't help the symptoms at all, but there's some studies that show that it can serve as a neuroprotector.
Exactly.
So I took that for 2 months, and my inner person that really doesn't want to take medication rose out of me again and said, let's not do this yet. So I'm not anti-medication. I need to make that clear. I think it's important. I think medicine has its role. For me personally, at this stage in my life, it's not something that I feel like I need to do. So I've chosen not to use it. Okay.
That's a perfect answer. And, something that I always say around medication is to each his own. And there are plenty of people who don't want to take medication. And I think that there are lots of resources and strategies to go that direction. And then there are people who do want to take medication, and there are resources and strategies to go down that direction. So there's no right or wrong. Everyone's plan of attack is different, and it's got to be, tailored to, the goal is to help you live the life that you want to live. So can be with medication or without it. So, okay. Wonderful. Okay, guys, I'm just going to shout out real fast. Yvette is in here. Welcome, Yvette. Connie, Rollo. Thanks for tuning in. Yes. Diane Phillips. What an inspiration she is. We all feel that way too. Yes. We've got Mohammed from Cairo, Egypt is watching.
Wow. Hi, Mohammed.
There we go. Tina, we've got, I want to make sure to say hi, Paul from Grand Rapids, Michigan. Okay, guys. Well, thank you so much for saying hi. And if you're watching, if you're watching this on replay, still say hello in the comment section below. Give us a like or a love or share it, because we do come back and make sure that we are taking care of our comment section. So, okay, let me go ahead and we'll kind of close out here. I wanted to ask you, what message, kind of in summing everything up, what message do you have for anyone who has felt or is feeling discouraged by their Parkinson's diagnosis?
I want people to know that there is hope. I look at, and like people who feel down and in despair, I think they should go look at the stories of the people that I mentioned, Colin Potter, John Pepper, Dr. Terry Walls, Bob Cafaro, Dr. Chris Hagaset. Those people, I look at them and I say, if they can do it, then so can I. I am nowhere near even the middle of my journey. I'm literally at the beginning. I still have all the symptoms. I'm still experiencing a lot of discomfort, and I have many challenges that I face every day. But I'm very hopeful because there are people who have gone ahead of me who have tackled this illness and have shown positive results. So my philosophy is, if they can do it, then why can't I? And I want to challenge anyone who has Parkinson's and is given up. Like John Pepper is 83 years old. So
yeah.
You can look at me and say, oh, maybe because I'm young. I need to stop holding my earphones.
Oh, you're fine.
You can look at me and say, maybe because I'm young, then there's still, hope for me. But this guy is 83 years old, So look at the examples, research them, and look at the examples that I've given. And I think they will fill you with inspiration and with hope. I think, one thing that I always advocate is protecting your mind. I think your mind is your biggest asset. I think, I don't recall who said it, it's the quote that goes, watch your thoughts because they become your actions, watch your actions because they become something, and eventually they become your character.
Gandhi, I think it was Gandhi.
Okay.
I like that quote, yeah.
The point is that it all starts with your thoughts, and it all starts with your mind. I don't believe that you can get better if you don't even think that you can. I think that's a prerequisite for you to be able to get better. You can have the best exercises in the world, and I think like if you need the right mindset to be able to progress. So one of the things that I wanted to mention was when you asked me about faith, and this is not about a specific faith in particular. One thing I do, when you asked me about how I cope with the challenges that I have, I don't think the answer that I wanted to give then was, it's not what I do in the instant that I have the challenges that matters. It's what I did yesterday and the day before and 3 days ago and last week. So I listen to a ton of inspirational audio every day. Like I bombard my mind with inspirational audio, with voices telling me that I've got this, I can do this. That just spreading just, depositing positive thoughts into my inner self, into my mind, into my spirit. I read my Bible a lot as well, and that helps me in that regard as well. But the point is that when I have those challenges, those things that I have read or listened to have become a part of me without me even realizing it. And it becomes an automatic response. My hopeful nature and my optimistic nature is not something I do in that moment. It's who I am based on the things that I've been doing. So I would encourage people to listen to inspirational audio, surround themselves with people who are positive and remove negativity and negative people from their life.
Yeah, I agree. Your body achieves what your mind believes is what comes up for me when you say that.
Right.
Because if deep down you don't believe that you can make progress, your body is just listening to your mind. And so I love that, bombarding your mind and surrounding yourself with people.
Sorry, I was going to use an analogy. So if you think about an Olympic athlete who has to perform every 4 years, it's not what they did the day before the race or the swim or whatever activity they're doing that matters. It's what they've been doing in the years before, in the weeks before, in the months before. Those are the things that accumulate to their successes on that day. So it's important for me to let people know that it's not what I'm doing now, it's what I have been doing in the past. And it's never too late to start. You can start now, you can start today.
Yes, you can start today, and looking at your journey as this spiral staircase, right? That we kind of talked about before, which is what one action, what one physical, mental, emotional step can you do to go up one rung today? And then day after day, you'll be able to look down and say, man, I've traveled really far. And it's never too late to start.
And I looked at those videos that I made, and I without sounding proud, or I'm not, I was proud of myself. I said, I have been through a lot. Like, this is it was difficult for me to watch some of the things that I put there. But I look back and I reflect, and I said, I'm happy that in spite of all the stuff that I've gone through, I am where I am today, where I'm still hopeful and optimistic.
Yeah. Yeah. And just being compassionate towards yourself.
Right.
Towards your journey, and that you're a human being and going through a human experience. And I think self-compassion can go a long way in that too. So, I feel like we could just talk forever, but we have reached the end of at least part one. Omotola, I would love to bring you back on to talk about.
I would be honored to come back.
Yes, because I know we have so many more things that we could chat about. So for everyone watching, if Omotola's message resonated with you, please check her out on social media, on her website, ParkinStand.com. She's on Facebook and Instagram and YouTube, and you can find all those links at the blog post. It's www.invigoratept.com/Omotola, or you can go to ParkinStand and also find all of her resources there. Reach out to her, connect with her, and share with us your experience as far as what is your ParkinStand. What was inspirational for you? You can share it in the comments below. You can share it in our private community, the Invigorated community, which you can join for free here on Facebook. But just remember that when you take a stand, it empowers others to do the same. And so thank you, Omotola, for taking the stand. And yes, you're welcome. And really just spreading your light and your message of hope. So we're cheering for you. I cannot wait to hear everything that you accomplish. I can't wait to meet you hopefully before Tokyo or before Kyoto, the World Parkinson Congress. But you're always welcome in Austin, and I will definitely look you up the next time I'm in England. So
please.
Yes. All right, guys, we're going to sign off here. So if you enjoyed this video, please like it, please share it. Subscribe to ParkinStand and Invigorate on YouTube, and keep an eye out for more inspirational videos. And so,
can I just say, Sarah, I think you're really awesome. I think what you're doing is extremely helpful and beneficial. A lot of the resources you put out there are free. That's how I came to know about you, was on YouTube when I was looking for a Parkinson's diet. And I just want to really thank you and say a job very well done for your heart for people with Parkinson's disease. I really appreciate you, and I'm honored to be on this platform with you.
Thank you. You're going to make me cry on public live Facebook video. Thank you, Omotola. Well, the feeling's mutual. Okay. Thank you, guys. We'll catch you next time.
My first Facebook Live.
Victory! Yay! Hey!